Okay, so this is the main sort of administrative dashboard page when you log in. And so over here we have the various areas that you can go to. So this is a list of the applications. So we can see there's 3 applications, 2 of which have been approved, 1 of which has been submitted. The filtering and the sorting and the searching probably doesn't quite work right at this point, but the idea is that yes, one will be able to, you know, filter and search and sort and whatnot. Then I'm gonna go to, these are the members. And so, there's a member information, there's all the fields for all the things, right? And this is which of these fields are visible in the public profile, right? Then there's associates are, again, sort of things that are related to a specific, sub-accounts that are related to a member. There are also invoices that are created when, for example, somebody subscribes to a package or they purchase a share, an invoice object gets created. There are also service packages. So for example, here's a package called a demo package, and it has a monthly billing cycle of $10. And it has a public description field so that when a member of the public goes to see, oh, what are the service packages? They'll see this description. When a member goes to see the service packages, they'll see, this description. Yeah, and then there's shares, right? So, what is the price and what is the date? And then there are subscriptions. So David Borditsky created a subscription for $100 to the basic package, right? Um, and so, and then there's various actions you can provide. Like I can say, that this is, I think, subscribe. Do you want to? Yes, I am. Yay. So I have now subscribed to this package because presumably you have gone and created an invoice and transmitted the invoice and received payment. And then you go in and mark it as essentially having been paid. Because the connecting up with payment gateways and stuff is not part of the initial scope. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you here. So for example, this particular invoice, I don't know if we've got the downloading working yet as PDFs. It looks like it made a PDF. Look at that. Um, or probably not. Anyway, so yeah, that's the general idea here. And again, it's still pretty rough and not very easy to look at in some ways. But all the framework is here, and the functionality as defined in the specifications document continues to be worked on. Um, yeah, I kind of blew through that quickly, but there's not much to really show at this point.
Well, I am impressed. I don't know how the others feel. I have to tell you though, having worked with the students for months after months, on 2 or 3 different teams of students, we didn't get to see anything as sophisticated, nearly as sophisticated as this.
No, well,
I
we
mean,
do this for a living.
yeah, it's not like I expected something quite this nice, but
Yeah.
and I would also say that before we got started, Dave and I were talking about how we might want to set up a cloud funding campaign for this to generate some kind of cash. We'll have to learn about that too.
Well, just, sort of going and hitting up the memberships, the members for, hey, we haven't charged you an annual renewal fee. We'd like to do that because, we want to give David Bordisky some money.
Yeah, and this little demo just might help, fill the ticket.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
So what we haven't built yet are the, sort of the public facing side. of the member directory. We haven't built a public facing membership application form, that kind of stuff.
Right. Dave, do you have any thoughts on this?
Nope, so far so good, much better. All right, no further comment.
Shannon?
No. I mean, if the consumer facing needs to be built, then that's where we would do our, um, that would be just for subscriptions and for membership, or would that also be able to include event registrations? Or
Well,
is event
yeah,
registrations going to be completely different, like interface?
yeah. So there's no provision in here yet for events.
Okay, yeah,
So, you know, one could abuse subscriptions to create an event, a single use subscription thing. But um, yeah, I mean, at this point, it might be better to just continue to use Eventbrite and just, integrate
Yeah,
that onto the WordPress site.
yeah,
yeah, which is easy to do because
Yep.
Eventbrite generates its own embed code, so
Yeah.
it's fine. Okay, that works.
right.
Yeah, for now, I mean, that's probably the easiest thing.
Okay.
Okay. Graham, do you have some thoughts on this?
Actually, no thoughts. Here, I'm fasting and there is no energy.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, there is about 25 minutes to break the fasting.
Well, for
So yeah,
sunset, yeah.
All right.
But okay, so David, can you tell us a little bit about the technology in this? What software tools are you using? What languages?
Sure. So we're using Django as the database backend and the web application framework. We're using Vue.js for the front end, and then we're using some libraries that we've created to basically be the in between the back end and the front end. So we are essentially having these interfaces here being created by having Vue.js make API calls to the Django backend. And then data gets returned, which Vue.js kind of says, hey, it's going to look like this. And yeah, that's the extent of it.
Okay. Um, so you said Django for database. Is there a separate database like a
Yeah,
PostgreSQL?
so yeah, it's we store the data in Postgres,
Okay.
but yeah, it's wrapped inside of a Django, or it's wrapped by a Django,
Okay.
and it's running on whatever version of Linux we're using these days.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I don't remember. It used to be CentOS 8, but now it's something else because Red Hat did a thing, and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Okay. So Daryl had specified that we're using Ubuntu Linux.
we're not using Ubuntu.
So does that create a problem or does it matter? Doesn't make any difference, eh?
No.
Program runs the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is currently running at linode.com.
Okay.
That's where we tend to develop and deploy things. And so this is probably an $8 a month, or 10 or 12 or whatever they cost
Hmm.
these days, US dollars per month for however many, gig of RAM and whatever. The code all lives in GitHub. We use Circle CI. We tend to do unit testing. Um, yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
No, no, that's good. Um, Oh, it's too bad Daryl's not able to join us here, and James too, for that matter. James is, like I said, their system administrator on Dave's
Right.
server.
I mean, at this point, yeah, I mean, my intention is that, we would just deploy this to Linode because that's what all of our, what all of our workflows and developer tools are all sort of geared around.
Yeah,
From, development servers to staging servers to production, to the developer's own copies of things on their workstations and database replication and backups and, key integrations in GitHub and, Python chain, like
oh,
tools for building things and, PyPy and all that
yeah,
stuff,
for sure.
Node. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think Daryl had investigated that. He might have even set up an account there. It's not affiliated
Yeah.
with Heroku, is it? Linode?
No, no. Linode was an independent company, but then it got bought by Akamai a couple of years ago,
Okay.
and they haven't ruined it yet, so that's good.
All right. Any other comments or questions? I don't think we need a board approval on this per se, do we? No, I mean, it's underway. It's looking good as far as I can tell.